You're paying twice, once in dollars, once in options. And the bill gets massive when you're loyal to the wrong company. Your boss loves your 10 years of loyalty. Your bank account does not. Staying loyal to one company is one of the quietest ways to kill your net worth. Today, I'm going to show you how good employee energy turns into a 6-figure to 7-figure pay cut over your lifetime. And then I'll give you a simple way to flip into market value mode without being reckless. I'm Mike, Money Mike, the guy who upgrades income with math while everyone else collects loyalty plaques. Society sees loyalty. Math sees lost money. Let's walk through why loyalty to a company can be financial death. Here's the paradox. The longer you stay, the less you earn relative to the market. Most companies throw you a 3% raise each year if you behave. Meanwhile, people who switch jobs every 3 to 5 years regularly land 15 to 20% jumps. Same human, same skill set, just a different strategy. Let me put numbers on that. Say you're making $70,000 a year. Path 1. You stay loyal and get a 3% raise every year. Path 2. You keep your skills sharp, and every 3 to 5 years you switch and land roughly a 20% bump. After about a decade, the loyal path gets you to roughly $100K a year. The market value path can easily be $140K plus a year off the same starting point. That's a gap of $40,000 or more every year, just because you moved when the market said you were worth more. That's not being greedy. That's just not leaving money on the table. Now, scene 1. You're on the HR benefits enrollment screen at work. You click through health insurance, life insurance, all the boring boxes. At the end, there's an email. Congrats on your 3% merit increase. We value your contribution. You smile for half a second, then shrug and go back to work. Here's what that screen doesn't tell you. That 3% is just keeping up with inflation most years. They're paying you just enough to not leave. But the market might pay you 10 to 20% more tomorrow if you walk across the street. Society sees loyal team player. Math sees discounted employee on permanent sale. Let's talk about the long game. If that job hopper path gives you even $1,000 more per month than the loyal path over time, here's what happens. Invest that extra $1,000 a month into a boring index fund at an 8% average return over 30 years. That lands somewhere around $1.4 to $1.5 million. Not guaranteed, but directionally powerful. Even if reality cuts that in half, you're still staring at a $700,000 plus freedom gap. This is why I call blind loyalty financial death. It's not the first year that kills you. It's the compounding gap between what the market would pay you and what your company can get away with paying you. Your employer's job is to get your time for as little as possible. Your job is to get paid what you're actually worth. Now let's plug this into identity for a second. Right now, a lot of people attach loyalty to being a good person. They think leaving is betrayal. The company, by the way, does not think this way about you. If budgets get tight, they will cut you in a 5-minute meeting and call it restructuring. You cannot be more loyal to their profit than they are to your paycheck. Here's metaphor 1. Staying at the same company for 20 years with tiny raises is like going to the gym and lifting the same 5-pound dumbbells forever. You feel consistent, but your muscles never grow. In the job market, your muscle is your market value. If you never test it, it never expands. Now, scene 2. You're at friend's brunch. One friend is flexing a 10-year anniversary plaque and a fancy title with no pay transparency. Another friend casually mentions they switched jobs twice and accidentally doubled their income. They're not smarter. They just stopped treating their company like a life partner and started treating it like a contract. Society sees the loyal friend as stable. Math sees someone who quietly lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Society sees the job hopper as risky. Math sees someone who did one scary thing every few years and bought themselves options. I know what some of you are thinking right now. But Mike, job hopping looks bad on a resume. Here's the truth. Strategic moves every 3 to 5 years with clear skill growth look very different from chaotic job changes every 6 months. If you can tell a story of growth, most good employers love that. Another objection. I can't just leave. My industry is small and I need stability. Stability doesn't come from one employer. Stability comes from being the kind of person 10 employers would fight over. That's a market value mindset. Third objection. I have a family. I can't take risks. Staying underpaid for 10 years is not the low-risk move. It just hides the risk inside your future. The real risk is arriving at 55 and realizing you spent your prime years working at half your market rate. Let's use metaphor 2. Staying loyal to a company that underpays you is like staying in a relationship with someone who keeps saying, "I'll change next year," and never does. At some point, the pattern is the answer. If your pay has barely moved for 5 years, that is the answer. So how do you switch from fear of change to a market value mindset? Step 1, get your number. Make a simple list of your skills, your years of experience, and your actual impact at work. Then look up current ranges for your role in your city or remote market. 9 times out of 10, people realize they're 10, 20, even 30 grand under what the market is paying for similar roles. Step 2, mentally separate your identity from your employer. You are not a company name person. You are a professional who currently rents your time to company name. Market value mindset means you are loyal to your craft and your family's future, not to a logo. Step 3, play the long game with your skills. Spend a few hours each month building skills the market rewards, not just skills your current manager finds convenient. That might mean leadership, a technical certification, better communication, or learning tools that are hot in your field. Every new skill is a lever you can pull in your next negotiation. Now let's bring in metaphor 3. The job market is a highway, and you're parked on the shoulder watching everyone else pass. The longer you sit there with your hazard lights on, the harder it feels to merge back in. But the only way to start moving is to signal, accelerate, and pick your opening. Here's how to use the math we talked about. Look at what a 20% jump would mean for you right now. If you're at $70,000, that's $84,000. That's roughly $1,100 more per month before taxes. Even if only half of that ends up real after taxes and lifestyle, you could still redirect $500 a month toward investing. At 8% over 30 years, $500 a month is in the ballpark of $700,000 plus. Even at more conservative returns, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the hidden price tag of staying where you are because it's comfortable. I want you to notice something important here. We haven't even talked about extreme job hopping or becoming a workaholic. We're just talking about being intentional every 3 to 5 years. Ask, is my current employer paying market rate for my skills? If the answer is no, the loyal move for your family is to leave. Now let's rewire the fear. Fear of change says, what if it doesn't work out? Market value mindset says, what is it costing me to stay? Fear of change stares at the short-term discomfort. Market value stares at the long-term math. So here's your concrete next step. Block off 1 hour on your calendar this week and title it Market Value Audit. In that hour, update your resume, refresh your LinkedIn, and apply to at least 3 roles at or above your current level. You are not betraying your company. You are simply checking your price tag. If nobody bites, that's data that you need to invest more in your skills. If everyone bites, That's data that you've been on sale for years. Either way, you now have leverage. You can negotiate where you are, or you can move and let the market give you that 15 to 20% jump. Your company is not your retirement plan. Loyalty to a logo will not pay your future medical bills. But a higher income, invested consistently, absolutely can. Future you is either going to thank you for being brave or resent you for staying stuck. Do one thing today that moves you toward market value mode. I'm Mike, Money Mike. And I want you rich enough that loyalty is a choice, not a trap.